folks, we're here at the Marshall booth, one of my favorite booths here. And on my side is Luke. He's a specialist for Marshall equipment, and he will give us a lot of information about the novelties. And yes, Luke, what's new?
This year we've got the Yngwie Malmsteen signature head. It was designed and built very closely with Yngwie and has a lot of features that are key to his playing style. Yngwie is very, very traditional in his requirements for an amplifier, so we looked at a lot of traditional amplifiers, and the Yngwie Malmsteen head is based broadly on the 1959, which is a staple for most guitarists, professionals. The big difference about the Yngwie is that what we've incorporated into the product is a variety of features that Yngwie uses, usually in outboard equipment, and we've put everything inside the amplifier. But we've also put some more features in there that are really useful for the guitarists to get the most out of their amplifier when they're using it. You'll probably notice from the size of the amplifier head, Yngwie was very particular. He's a very big fan of the Marshall Major, which is an amplifier from our past, which we used to call the Pig, and it had a huge cabinet. And one of the things that Yngwie was very keen on was to have this really awe-inspiring, oversized head. So we've managed to fit everything inside it, but we've had to use the big cabinet to fit it all in because there's a lot in the product. In the amplifier itself, you'll notice on the front panel of the amplifier, it's very, very traditional. The only thing that really sets it aside from something like a 1959 is the fact that you've got the letters YJM there, which is obviously stands for Yngwie.
So it looks like just a 59 plexi.
Exactly. And that's very in keeping with Yngwie's kind of mentality. That's what he likes. He likes that vintage look and the vintage feel. The difference with the Yngwie is when you come round to the back of the amplifier, we've added a number of features in there which basically turn it from a 1959 into what's basically a super 1959. And it allows the guitarist to do a lot of things that they haven't been able to do traditionally with the 1959. So on board you've got a booster.
So first, a question: what's the reason that that all the options here are on the back side of the amplifier?
It's down to Yngwie was very, very keen to make sure that it looked like a real Marshall, a true Marshall in the vintage look. And he was very keen to have the 4 inputs and the traditional look from the front with the old-fashioned letterbox styling. So we had to put everything on the back, and even down to Yngwie's signature, which was on the back. He insisted it was all on the back because he wanted that traditional look. The features themselves. You've got an inbuilt booster, you've got an inbuilt noise gate, an inbuilt reverb as well, and an effects loop. And basically these are all foot switchable. So unlike a 1959 where you'd have to have the outboard equipment, with this you can actually switch those on and off. And then each one of them is controllable by a separate knob. So for instance with the booster you can control the volume and the gain of the booster. And then with the gate, you can then control the threshold of the gate, so you can open or close the gate to your sort of personal preference. The one thing is, if you put the booster on with the gate off, it will squeal like a pig. The reason it does that, and the reason the gate's in there, is because there is so much gain in there with the booster engaged that it's just normal for a valve amp to do that. It's quite uncontrollable. Put the noise gate on, it's controllable again, which is exactly in line with Yngwie's playing style.
So I've heard about that it's possible to play the amplifier at your home or to practice, yeah. Not so loud, but with all the fat sound of the amplifier. What's about that?
Well, what we did with the Yngwie, and the Yngwie is very similar. We have another amplifier out, which is the Slash AFD 100, which a lot of people are talking about. And they both have what we call electronic power attenuation. It's a Marshall design system, and basically you can electronically control the output power of the amplifier. With the Yngwie, you've also got the cool feature where you can actually switch it from 100 watts to 50 watts, and then you can use the attenuation to then bring it down to a percentage of that power.
It's really cool. Maybe you play in a small club or in a big stadium.
Exactly. And for a lot of people, they don't get to play in larger venues all of the time, but they may get to play in a club once every so often. So the ability to take their main amplifier back home and practice with it at home and then use exactly the same amplifier on stage is obviously a bonus.
That's really fantastic. So, and the amp, is it already available?
The amplifier is going into production very soon. There's a limited number of amplifiers available. It's a limited edition of just 1,500 units. It's been, the response from people that have seen it and heard it is very, very positive. And it's one of those things that it does the Yngwie sound, but it does so much more because it's got the whole Marshall heritage inside.
And let's talk about a price. Is there a price range for the amplifier?
I don't know what the price
That's 1,850 euros.
So
is the retail.
So 1,850 euros is retail, obviously, in Europe. So yeah, but we rely on our distributors to do the pricing for us. So
fantastic. Thank you very much, Luke. For much more information on our website www.musicstore.de. Thank you very much.